What if the difference between a bacteria, a tree, and a human being came down to the same tiny toolkit? Not a single molecule of magic, just 5 molecular biology concepts working together, quietly, constantly, and with unbelievable precision. By the end of this video, you will see life less like a mystery and more like a system you can almost read. Molecular biology is the study of how life works at the level of DNA, RNA, and proteins. And once you understand a few core ideas, a lot of biology suddenly becomes much easier to follow, from how diseases happen to how medicines work to how scientists engineer new life-saving tools. Here are 5 powerful concepts that shape life. First, DNA stores the instructions. DNA is the cell's long-term information archive. It holds genes, which are specific instructions for making functional molecules, usually proteins. Why is this useful? Because if you know where the instructions are stored, you can begin to understand inheritance, mutation, and disease. For example, a mutation in a single gene can change how a protein folds or functions. That can lead to conditions like sickle cell disease, where one small DNA change affects the shape of red blood cells. In practical terms, DNA analysis helps doctors detect genetic risks, helps researchers trace outbreaks, and helps scientists edit genes using tools like CRISPR. Second, RNA is the messenger. If DNA is the archive, RNA is the working copy. Cells do not usually use DNA directly to build proteins. Instead, they make messenger RNA, abbreviated as mRNA, which carries the instruction from the nucleus to the protein-making machinery. This matters because RNA is fast, flexible, and temporary. Cells can make different amounts of RNA depending on what they need, which is one way they control which proteins get produced. A concrete example: if a cell needs to respond to stress, it can quickly increase RNA production for protective proteins. This same idea powers mRNA vaccines. Instead of introducing the full virus, the vaccine gives cells a set of instructions to make a harmless piece of it, training the immune system to recognize the real thing later. Third, proteins do the work. Proteins are the machines, builders, and enforcers of the cell. Some proteins speed up reactions as enzymes. Others transport molecules, send signals, or provide structure. This is useful because most of what happens in biology actually happens through proteins. If a protein does not work correctly, the whole system can be affected. For instance, the enzyme lactase breaks down lactose in milk. If someone produces too little lactase, they can become lactose intolerant. That is a direct example of how protein function affects everyday life. Understanding proteins helps scientists design better drugs because many medicines work by changing a protein's activity. Fourth, gene expression controls when and where things happen. Not every gene is active all the time. Cells turn genes on and off depending on the situation. This is called gene expression, and it is one of the biggest reasons cells with the same DNA can become very different. A skin cell and a neuron contain the same genome, but they use different sets of genes. Why does that matter? Because it explains development, specialization, and adaptation. For example, during growth, some genes are activated to build muscle, while others are silenced. In cancer, this control system can fail, causing cells to grow and divide when they should not. Researchers use gene expression studies to understand diseases, identify biomarkers, and even predict how a tumor might behave. Fifth, molecular interactions make life possible. At the smallest scale, biology is all about fitting and binding, molecules interacting with other molecules in highly specific ways. A protein might bind DNA to turn a gene on. An enzyme might bind a substrate to speed up a reaction. An antibody might bind a virus to help neutralize it. This is useful because these interactions are the basis of communication and control inside cells. And once you understand that, you understand why drugs can work so precisely. A medicine often works because it binds to a target molecule and changes what that molecule does. For example, many antibiotics target bacterial proteins without affecting human cells, which is why they can fight infections. So molecular biology is not just a list of facts. It is a logic system. DNA stores the code, RNA carries it, proteins execute it, gene expression controls it, molecular interactions make it all happen. And that is what makes it so powerful. Once you understand these 5 ideas, you are not just memorizing life, you are beginning to understand how life is built, maintained, and sometimes repaired. Molecular biology explained. 5 powerful concepts that shape life is just one small part of molecular biology. If you are interested, our full free molecular biology course is linked in the description.